I want to go
Larry,
watch
Larry, Larry.
Hawkeye
Have you
again.
seen Loki, the last episode, season 2,
I
episode 5?
did.
What did you think, sir? What did you think?
Um, I watched that and I thought to myself, Loki might be the most important character in the NCU at this point.
This is true.
I was like, wow.
Yeah.
I was like, Loki might be the most important dude in the MCU.
Yeah, man. This is true. The episode was wild, man, and we're gonna just talk about it here real quick for the last topic of the day. If you have not seen Loki season 2, episode 5, titled Science Fiction, we're gonna spoil this thing up, down, left, right, in, and out as if you've already seen it. That is your warning, and so don't get mad at me like, oh my god, don't talk about it. We haven't seen it yet. It came out a couple of days ago. And so check it out. Now, Larry, when episode 4 ended, man, I did not know what to expect. That was a hell of a cliffhanger. I was saying to myself, what in the world is going to happen next? I don't know. Anything goes. Now, I was disappointed that they released a trailer. I know I talked about that. Eman talked about it on we talked about it privately, but he said it on Friday or last week about the horrible marketing. I was disappointed by that. But what I do like about the episode is these endless time paradoxes that they're causing with this mess. We open up the episode. Loki is the only one in the TVA. Everybody's gone. We don't know if they went back to the sacred timeline, the branch timeline, or their own timeline, or they're just disintegrated, like Victor Timely in episode 4, how he went spaghetti. But what I do like is Loki is time slipping again. That whole effect right there is cool to me. The fact that he was going down the corridor and then saw himself pick up the book and say hello. Time slip disappeared, but then he walked in himself and picked up the book and then saw what he just did. That whole concept right there is just so fascinating to me. I love it. It really does. Just makes me smile as far as it's just science fiction goes. But like, what did you think about that opening? It was it satisfying to you with the way that episode 4 ended, or was you kind of wanting something else?
No, it worked. It worked really well. It was one of those things where because once you start talking about time travel and dimensions and everything else, anything is possible. So it's kind of cool that he's there seeing himself and then disappearing and popping back up. It's just like, because sometimes when people do time travel movies, it can get confusing where you're just like, okay, where are they? What time and space are they in? But the way they've done this is sort of like, it doesn't really matter what time and space they're in, because it's like they're in a place that doesn't really exist, but it does exist, but it doesn't exist. And so it doesn't really matter if it exists or not. It's just like the when and where, the when doesn't matter so much as just knowing that Loki's still there. He's still rolling around. So
this is true. Now, this is the first time we've actually talked about season 2 on my channel at all. I mean, we haven't even talked about it on the back end either. But do you have a favorite character so far in season 2? Is there anybody that makes you smile from ear to ear? As soon as they pop on the screen, like if any, who's your favorite character? Because I definitely have one, which I'm gonna tell you here in a second.
Oh man, I mean, obviously, I love Loki, but I really like Sylvie right now. I love the fact when she went into McDonald's and she was like, the guy was like, what would you like? And she was just like, everything. She was like, I want to experience everything. And I'm just like, I guess I'm just kind of feeling her character right now,
I got you. I may sound like a little wimpy baby, but one of the things I don't want to necessarily wish, I don't want to say I don't like it, but it kind of makes my skin crawl a little bit. It's just those visuals of the branch timelines dying and them going into spaghetti form. That just kind of just makes my skin crawl. You know what I'm saying? Just like reality itself folding in on itself like that. It's cool, but creepy at the same time.
It is creepy.
But after that, man, we start to go to each of the individual timelines and kind of seeing where everybody's coming from. The first one, we have Casey, who doesn't know who he is. He's escaping from Alcatraz. Have you seen that movie? that came out a number of years ago? Escape from
Escape
Alcatraz.
from Alcatraz. You know, it's interesting because they say that only 2 people escaped, and since he left, that would explain why they didn't think it was 3. Although there would
Really?
be somebody missing because there
Okay.
would still be 3 people missing, but I think one of them they found. The other person they never found the body, I think.
I want to look into that, man. Just one random Saturday when I was a child, I think in elementary or junior high, I was just watching TV and I was like, "What is this Escape from Alcatraz?" I did not see the whole movie. I saw maybe like the last 30 to 45 minutes, and it was pretty good. Seeing their meticulous plan go into fruition.
I just
For
went
them
to
to escape.
Alcatraz like I don't know, maybe like 2 months ago or something like that. I went to Alcatraz. It's very interesting. I didn't know that. I guess there was a whole group of Native Americans that took over Alcatraz for a long period of time. I think it was in the 70s, I think it was. It started off as like a student protest where they took it over.
I got you.
Yeah.
I did not hear anything about that. Remind me to look into that. I didn't answer the question I just asked you. You told me Sylvie is the character that you're feeling right now. People are dropping their favorites in the comments. I agree with Johnny Washington here. I like Obie over Boris. He's my favorite right there. I love him. He is a freaking badass. Yeah, I felt sorry for him. You know, he's a science fiction writer, has all these books that he put together, and he is dropping them off for free at the library and trying to pay for his own book. Doesn't really get lower than that, man. But I was feeling for him. I mean, I don't know. I've never seen anything like that before where you're trying to pay the store to take your own book. But that has to really do something for the mind right there. I liked it, man. You know, pretty dope to me. The fact that he was able to build a TemPad in only 19 months was very cool too. And I just kind of like the whole dialogue behind it and just all of his manners. Like, oh man, I would have to build this from scratch if I don't have anything to go off. It could take a whole lifetime, you know. Oh, I'm sorry, I got a fly on that or something. But he,
that's the guy from Indy, right?
Yeah,
that's the kid from Indy. Every time I see him, I'm just like, man, I always love the way that kid sounds when he talks. And it's just, it's still today.
It's something about him, man, that he came out with those 2 movies back in the day that just defined so many people's childhood, or at least my generation. And then he disappears, and then he just comes back. And you know, he's still just as good, kind of the same person, but 30, 35 years later. I love that too. But the fact that he lost his wife and his job because of the 19 months, you know, that kind of broke my heart. But I mean, do you have any commentary there? And right after that, we meet Mobius's character too on the jet skis. But yeah, how'd you feel about all that?
You know, I guess theoretically, if he wanted to, he could always go back and talk to his wife and explain things to her, maybe show her some things. I think that he lost his wife, but I think obviously there's more there than what we know because he's choosing not to do that. You know, just like when Loki told Mobius, I can bring you back here anytime you want, you know, and he shows them like there we are talking. I can put you back anytime and space you want to be. And obviously, you know, Obie knows that. So I mean, there's more than that than just his work that's going on with his wife. So I don't know what it is, but he's choosing not to go back and fix that.
Now we finally get to see Mobius you know, living his jet ski lifestyle. His wife left him too. You know, but his opening scene, he was in the showroom with the fan in his face, wind blowing in his face, doing his jet ski. And the other dude, like, no, I want a dirt bike. How'd you feel about that, man? Because I have a question I'm gonna ask you here in a second. But how'd you feel about Mobius finally seeing him kind of in that jet ski lifestyle with his boys and all that?
I mean, it explained a lot because he had the cutout of the jet ski from the magazine at his desk. You know, I think that was in season 1 when he had that. So it makes sense.
Now let me ask you this: what would you do? Would you want to be ignorance is bliss and just not know anything, or would you want to know the life that you could have lived? Because Sylvie, your favorite character, and Loki, and I think Hunter B15 as well, was like, hey man, don't you want to know what life you had on the timeline? You're a
Yeah.
variant. You've been, you think you have all your memory, but you have more than a life of this TVA. Your life is stolen. And he didn't want to know. He didn't want to know. I mean, at first he was like, no, man, what if I had the best life in the world and it was stolen from me? I wouldn't want to know. But it doesn't seem like he has the best life. He said that his wife left him as well. His kids are bad as hell, running around with matches and wanting snakes and puppies, and they just seem really disobedient. He loves his boys, but like, where are you on your philosophy? Would you want to know, or would you be like, nah, I'm good here on the TVA, man. They got good health insurance. I got a limited amount of key lime pie. Where you at on that?
I would hope that I'd be brave enough to want to know. I hope I'd be brave enough, because that would be terrifying in a lot of ways, But yeah, I think I would take a lot of personal courage to say yes to that, to having that much knowledge,
I got you. Yeah.
And so I would want to, and I hope I'd be brave enough to say yes. Show me everything. Tell me everything.
Yeah. For me, the acting was also pretty good in this episode too, with Loki trying to convince him, like, hey, bro, we need you right now. We got to get this temporal oil to do this and do that. And of course, at the time, he didn't know what all that means. But Mobius was really concerned for his boys. Like, I cannot leave my boys.
Yeah.
He's like, but look, they're not gonna know, but I would know. I like that they threw that in there as well, just showing his level of responsibility and that he doesn't want to, leave his boys. It seems the tone and his mannerisms and just his demeanor seems like he's not happy. Seems like he made some mistakes in his life and that he doesn't want to repeat them, or he's just trying to do the best he can. Now it's like, look, I've already failed through. This has already failed through in my life in this and this aspect, but at least let me be there for my boys, even though they're kind of running over him a little bit. Well, like a lot. I kind of got that vibe from him, and it just made me fall in love with his character even more,
Yeah. It
Go
was so
ahead.
interesting, Casey's character, because he's like, in the TVA, he's like this very sweet man who's very much by the rules and sticks to everything by the sticks to the book. And then in his his other life, he was the exact opposite. He's a criminal and a convict and an escapee. And even when they pulled him, he was like, so you can go anywhere with this thing. You can go into bank vaults. He was he was still thinking about robbing banks.
Right.
So it's kind of cool how they did his character like that.
Yeah. It is complete polar opposites. I'm glad that he didn't end up stealing the temp pad later on. The branches were dying, but polar opposites. But something, just as far as like the way they edited the episode, I'm really glad that they didn't spend time with each character trying to recruit them. They only showed him trying to recruit Mobius's character, but then it was kind of like a montage sequence for Casey a little bit, but then Hunter B-15, and it just kind of progressed smoothly on from there. Something that's still kind of up in the air for me and kind of confusing though is, like, why is Loki the only one that can time slip? Or also, why is Sylvie the only one that could remember everything that was going on? Like, why can't Mobius and B-15 and Casey remember, but Sophie can? Is it because they're Lokis? Is it because she has magic? Like, I still don't know that at this moment. What do you think?
Well, I think they sent all those people back to their stuff. She's been rolling around with her own temp pad. So
that's why.
Yeah, I think she's just been going where she wants to go when she wants to go, where the other people were sort of sent back. So
okay,
but
that makes sense. I didn't think about that at all.
One thing that made me smile in there was that scene with what's her name, Hunter B-15, when she was in there as a doctor and she was talking to a little girl and she was telling her don't climb trees. She was like, well, "You're not gonna listen, are you? You're gonna keep doing what you." Little girl was like, "No, I'm gonna keep climbing trees." So that scene just made me laugh.
I like it too. I like the bond between them, and it's kind of cool to see her like that. That she's very caring, kind of
gentle. She's a pediatrician.
She has a good vibe with the children, very motherly love, and all of that. But when we first met her in season 1, she was quite prejudiced. Like, you're a variant. I'm better than you.
Yeah,
she was humble. So it's kind of interesting to see her character going back and forth like that. I did like it. But I don't know, man. I didn't really push back. Sylvie, she's on the fence for me because nobody has checked her. All of this is her fault. She is the one that stabbed he who remains in the chest and didn't think it through. Remember, Loki was like, "Hey, wait a minute, let's talk about it now." But she want to kick him through the time door and stab him in the chest without really thinking things through, like I said. But in the end, she kind of wins. Everybody, the TVA is destroyed. Everybody's on their own timeline. She's in her branch timeline as well. And Loki is the one that is being selfish because before we realized they was dying, I was just kind of saying, well, hey, man, if everybody's at peace and everybody's ignorant, you know, what does it matter? Just let it ride out. And she was about to do that when she put on the headphones, but you know, her co-worker was pouring the drink or the coffee, and he started running, and the branch died, and she got her temp pad, and you know, went back to him. And so, do you? I mean, like, how do you feel about her being selfish and Loki being selfish too? He was like, "Look, I just miss my friends. You know, I want my friends back. You know, like that's kind of messed up. You know." And Sylvie kind of had a point right there. What say you, sir? What say you?
I mean, that's like a Loki thing to do, you know? I mean, they're all about chaos. And so for her to create all that chaos is just a very Loki thing to do. To be selfish like that, it's a very Loki thing to do. It's sort of, I mean, it fits them perfectly, you know? I mean, could you expect anything less? You know, I mean, even if that's one of those things with Loki. It's like, even if he's doing something that seems good, there's some other motive behind it, you know?
Yeah.
So, and in this sense, it was just the fact that he wants his friends. He's doing it he has selfless motivations to do the right thing. So
I'm glad that he was able to admit that, man. But his character was. But yeah, man, we're at the end right now. I did not know what the hell was going to happen, but it freaked me out when all of the branches started dying. They started dying and shriveling away. Mobius is like, "Oh, I gotta go find my boys," and then he went away.
Yeah.
But for Loki to have control over his time slipping and go back, what are the limits to that, Larry? How far can he go back? Can he just do this forever and ever and ever? Because on one, for me, as an audience member, as a fan, it is a cool concept. But at the same time, if you just have infinity amount of lives, it does take the stakes away. So they're really going to have to stick the landing and execute this the right way in the finale, or it could fail like Secret Invasion did. And I don't want that to happen. So I again, I like the concept of it, but if you can just keep doing redos over and over and over and over and over and over and over again, I don't know how I feel about that, man. Am I tripping or am I making sense?
No, you're not tripping at all. I mean, it's interesting that he has that power under control, because it really just like, it makes him so incredibly powerful in a lot of ways. Like if he decides he wants to go to Asgard, and they're basically like, you know, what was that sword that they had? Where they made the, you know, where he used to be able to try. He doesn't need that anymore. He can go anywhere he wants.
Right.
You know, I mean, he can literally go anywhere. And if Sylvie's truly a Loki, I know she has her temp pad, so she probably hasn't tried to develop that, but I'm assuming she can probably develop that same skill, you know?
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's really going to be interesting to see how they use that power that he has now, because it's going to be, unless somehow they decide they're going to take it away from him, like he's going to have some big moment where he saves everything, and as a consequence, he ends up having that power taken away. But if he maintains that power,
yeah,
I mean, because right now, the only person that can really travel the multiverse that we know of is Doctor Strange, you know? And if he's basically just like, yeah, Doctor Strange, whatever, I'm gone, you know? He doesn't need to go and get sick after he's traveling. He just jumps from here to there as he feels like it. I mean, that's powerful, dude.
Yeah.
You know?
But we're gonna see, man. What are you have any? We've got one episode left, man. The season finale. Do you have any predictions, any thoughts, like anything you want to happen, anything you don't want to happen?
I want to know if he's going to be able to travel with somebody else. If he's going to be able to take someone with him when he slips.
I never think of that.
You know, and if he slips, can he slip back to a time when you know, like where the Avengers are, and bring him back with him. If he's like, I really could use the help of my brother. Could he go slip and grab Thor, come back with him? You know, so
Good observation right there. Good observation right there. You guys, y'all, he was trying to sell skis.
he really was though.
He was. Him trying to sell his books at the bookstore broke my heart. I know. I'm asking too much. Why hasn't Loki visited Thor? Hell, he couldn't fake his own mother's death to save her. I got you. Mobius is a close second talking about your favorite characters. Yeah. Well, guys, that's gonna do it right there for the recap of Loki season 2, episode 5, titled Science Fiction. Loki traverses dying timelines in an attempt to find his friends, but reality is not what it seems.
Whoa,
you guys let us know what you think. What's up?
You didn't say what you were looking forward to.
I don't really have any expectations, to be honest with you. I just wanted to make sense.
Okay.
I don't want to set them too high. I just wanted to make sense. I don't want to be like, wait a minute, how you gonna end it like this when this and this happened? That don't make no sense. Oh, Marvel, you just make it make sense, and I'll be satisfied at this point, to be honest with you. But thank you for calling me out. Thank you for calling me out. But yeah, guys, y'all let us know what you thought about the episode, where this episode ranks as far as you're concerned. If it's the worst, if it's the best, if it's somewhere in the middle, let us know in the comment section, the chat, the comments, what you think was going to happen, what you want to happen, what you don't want to happen. Let us know. We're going to check out those conversations, those comments, and enjoy ourselves engaging and theorizing and all of that good stuff. We would really, really appreciate it.